Hi everybody, hello. I hope I'm audible, visible and everything is fine. Welcome to yet another form filling session. मतलब ये exam season एकदम जोरों शोरों से आया है. ZAT form filling is done, CAT form filling is done, NMAT form filling is done, and now we are here for the SNAP form filling. Before I go ahead and kickstart, I just need confirmation that I'm audible and visible. So it'll be great if a couple of you all can just go ahead and type into the chat box. हाँ सब सुनाई दे रहा है, सब दिखाई दे रहा है. Everything is okay. There is no cause for worry, so that we can officially go ahead and kickstart today's session. So I'll just wait for a couple of seconds, before while you'll go ahead and type that into the chat box so that I know ki sab theek hai. Okay, Daksh has just confirmed that yes, everything is audible, everything is visible. Great. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the session. Now, as I've already pointed out, a lot of forms have already released. All, if you go ahead and look at the top, MBA entrance examinations in India as of today, you would always go ahead and state they are CAT, they are ZAT, they are NMAT, they are SNAP. These four would turn out to be the top four, especially now that IFT is no longer a different entrance examination and IFT accepted CAT score the last time around. These four will turn around to be the most important entrance exams. Now, the CAT and the NMAT form filling is already on our YouTube channel. I hope you've gone through it and gone ahead and applied to the colleges accordingly and the exam accordingly. Today, we're going to go a little deeper into the SNAP form filling. The funda is going to be very, very simple. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about, what the form is like. But slightly more importantly, we're going to go a little deeper and talk about other elements. So without much ado, let's quickly go ahead and look at what are the topics of discussion in today's session. You're going to have a brief exam overview in terms of what the exam is like, what are the sections like, what kind of a score you should be looking at, and so on and so forth. What are the important dates associated with the SNAP exam, the test cities where the SNAP exam will be held, so total number of test cities and so on and so forth, the test structure in terms of, as I pointed out, the number of questions per section, what will be the ideal time you should spend per section, what is the score that you should be targeting, shortlisting and selection criteria overall, the weightage for the final merit list, and then finally going into how you can go ahead and register. What are the various steps you need to look at in terms of form filling? The form is not too difficult. It's not something that will catch you off guard. However, there are a couple of things that you need to look at very carefully. Finally, any questions that you all have, we'll go ahead and pick that up. I hope this is absolutely fine by everybody. I just need a confirmation that this works and we'll go ahead and kickstart. Perfect. Let's officially go ahead and kickstart. So let's see what all we have. So first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and see there is one common application form for SNAP for Symbiosis. There are 17 institutes, that you can go ahead and apply through that common application form. There are 27 different unique programs under those 17 institutes, and there are 80 cities where this exam is going to be conducted. Now, please keep in mind that when it comes to the GEPI as well, group exercise or group discussion and personal interview, there is going to be a different group exercise personal interview for every program under every institute. So unlike other colleges where एक कर दिया तो सारे प्रोग्राम्स के लोग, यहाँ पे हर प्रोग्राम के लिए अलग होने वाला है. Similar to say an XLRI which is going to have different for BM and HRM, or similar to say IM Indore which is going to go ahead and have a different for HRM and normal. So it's going to be something along those lines. The important dates that you need to go ahead and keep in mind is the registration and payment. It closes on the 22nd of November. It's open at this point in time. You can go ahead and register. The admit card, please keep in mind the admit card will release 6 days before the exam. So the exam dates are the 8th, 15th and the 21st of December. Admit card would release 6 days before that, 2nd, 9th, 15th of December. I hope that part is clear. There are 3 exams. The SNAP exam will be across 3 different slots: SNAP 1, SNAP 2, SNAP 3. One very, very important thing to understand is the best of 3 scores will be taken as your score. Okay, so that's important. And also please keep in mind, while they turn around and state normalization hoga, koi per se normalization hota nahi. Okay, so please keep that in mind as well. Announcement of result expected on the 8th of January. Okay, what are the test cities? There are going to be 80 test cities where the exam is going to be held. Please keep in mind, last year ye hua tha Suddenly the admit card came on the second, and suddenly fifth को updated admit card आया जब हम लोगों की cities change हो गई. So they keep on stating this SIU may alter test cities without notice. Please be aware of that. Please keep checking your admit card regularly once it comes. ये नहीं second को मैंने download कर लिया हो गया, एक बार वापस fifth को seventh को भी देख लेना अगर eighth को exam है. Please ensure you keep checking your admit card. ये एक problem उठ के हमेशा आती है. Okay, please keep in mind no date or city change requests after fee payment, so be very careful about the date and city requests. Also, when you're going ahead and filling the form, you'll actually be able to see availability of the slot basis the city that you're choosing. So that's an important and interesting thing. Make use of that. First come first serve hai, early payment boost chances for preferred city. Now the important part under this is mainly ये लोग इसलिए करते हैं, the earlier you pay, the more money that they get. The later you pay, there is a chance you might change your mind, you might not write it, and so on and so forth. Hence they turn around and state slots बहुत limited है, जितनी जल्दी पैसा दोगे उसके accordingly. Having said that, please keep in mind that the slots across every city will not be in abundance. I had stated this during the NMAT form filling as well, and I'm going to reiterate in the snap one. Be slightly careful when you do that. My recommendation always is at least 2 attempts to snap के लेने के बनते हैं. Admit card will contain all test details. As I pointed out, please ensure admit card 2 से 3 बार you go ahead and download. And as we pointed out, the test city can keep changing. I hope this part is clear to everybody. Please go ahead and type in CC into the chat box if you're very clear about what we've gone ahead and discussed here. Okay, in terms of the test cities, in terms of the admit card, and in terms of you not being able to change anything that is mentioned. I hope this part is clear to every single person. Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and have a look at the test structure. Now, this is the important part. The test structure is very, very interesting and very, very important. Please keep in mind that, the test basically has 3 sections. As you can see, English is the first section, 15 questions. Do keep in mind over the last couple of years, ये reading comprehension आया नहीं है. They state reading comprehension, but reading comprehension has not been there in the paper. Okay. Verbal reasoning and verbal ability predominantly hai. Lot of questions on grammar. Okay, and lot of questions alongside grammar on vocab. Okay, if these two parts you're comfortable with, which is grammar and vocab, excuse my handwriting, tablet is slightly causing a little bit of problem today, so excuse that a little bit. Okay, grammar and vocab is predominantly what you should be looking at. Okay, please keep that in mind when it comes to verbal. In terms of analytical and logical reasoning, yeah, there are multiple things. AR and LR means analytical reasoning and verbal reasoning. उसमें bifurcation है. Now, statement, critical reasoning like statement assumption, statement conclusion, inference, strengthening, weakening, वो type of questions बहुत काफी आते हैं. Expect roughly around, I would say, around 12 to 14 questions like that. The remaining will be AR, blood relation question, linear arrangement questions, visual reasoning questions, a few questions oriented to linear arrangement, a few questions oriented to input output, a few questions oriented to direction sense. Those kind of questions you can expect in abundance. And finally, quant, data interpretation, data sufficiency. Once again, data sufficiency ज़्यादा नहीं आता, ये लोग बोलते हैं, पर predominantly ज़्यादा नहीं आता. Maybe one odd question, but it wasn't there last year either. DIMA, you can expect about one set to be there. Nothing, very difficult, very simple calculation, very simple stuff. It will not take you a long time. Quant के अंदर focus will be very high on numbers, on arithmetic, on modern math, जिसके अंदर PNC and probability, and a little bit in terms of algebra. Generally बहुत ज्यादा ज्योमेट्री नहीं आता, थोड़ा सा ही आता है, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं आता. So I'm not going to turn around and say ज्योमेट्री पे फोकस होना चाहिए. Now, one interesting thing about this paper is the sections aren't timed. CAT में sections are timed 40 minutes. NMAT में sections are timed. In ZAT the sections are not timed, and in SNAP also they are not timed. Since they are not timed, look at the value per minute that you can get, the marks per minute. You know that there is a lot of weightage that you can get here. My general recommendation is do not spend more than 7 to 8 minutes on general English. Okay. Look at roughly about 25 minutes in quant, and you will see you are left with about 28 odd minutes with analytical reasoning and logical reasoning. That is predominantly how I would recommend that you go ahead and approach this paper in terms of what are the total marks that you can get, in terms of how to go ahead and maximize your score, and so on and so forth. I hope this part is clear to everybody. I will keep repeating, CC is the way to go. Also, do go ahead and show a little bit of love for the team. Neha and the team have gone ahead and they work very hard behind the scene. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that more such sessions you are able to get. And secondly, go ahead and also like the video so that there's a little bit of boost that you go ahead and provide everybody else who is working behind the scenes to bring you these sessions. In terms of the test structure, few takeaways: 60 minutes, like I pointed out. Timings will be on the admit card, 1 hour. 25% negative mark, matlab +1 -1/4 is how it operates. Up to 3 attempts, higher score will be considered, like I told you. They state this, that no advantage for multiple test scores. The difficulty level is going to be normalized. I'm going to be very clear. Assume no normalization. अज्यूम नो नॉर्मलाइजेशन लास्ट 2-3 साल से नहीं हुआ है, नहीं होगा, बोलने की बात है, होता नहीं है. Last year also one specific paper section slot, which is slot 2, was slightly easier. In the first year the slot 1 was the easiest, so it keeps changing and they do not normalize बोलने के जितने बावजूद, which is why I keep stating, if you can afford it, because it's an expensive exam, 2250 rupees per attempt. 2250 per attempt is not cheap. It's an expensive exam. If you can afford it, write thrice. If not, at least try writing twice so that your chance of success is high. Okay. And then they state that the scrutiny committee will resolve any errors post exam. वो जनरली वो भी मानना वो लोग का चांस बहुत कम है. They generally do not agree that there are any errors also. So this is a problem with snap. Please keep that in mind. Okay. Merit list, wait list, this is very important. Please keep this in mind. Basis your score and percentile, you will get a call from the colleges under the symbiosis banner. But the final conversion, there are 3 parts to it. Once again, 50% weightage is going to be to your snap score, 10% to group exercise. Group exercise could be a group discussion or an exercise, and 40% to personal interaction, which is PI. Sir, NMAT snap dates are very close to each other. What should I do in this case? My recommendation, like I pointed out earlier as well in my NMAT session, was ideal time to go ahead and write NMAT is 15 days either side of CAT. Now, if CAT you go ahead and see is on the 24th of November, NMAT you can write between the 5th to the 10th of November, or NMAT you should write after the 7th or the 8th of November. So the ideal way to do it, well, I would turn around and state, yaar, if you can, then snap को 8th को लिख दिया, NMAT को 11th या 12th को लिखो, and 15th को जाके वापस snap, and then 21st को. Why am I stating that? The preparation for snap and nmat is more or less the same. There is not a lot of difference. The only difference you will see is nmat के अंदर rc आ जाता है, snap के अंदर नहीं होता. Other than that, the preparation is more or less the same. There is not a lot of difference. Okay, so hence I would go ahead and recommend that you can go ahead and probably distribute it in this manner. Does that make sense? What do you mean, huh? I hope that helps you. Okay, okay, perfect. Let's come back to where we were. Merit list and wait list cutoffs will be displayed on the respective institutes' websites. Like I pointed out earlier, waitlist movement depends on availability of vacancies. Normal. Shortlisting and selection criteria. There are 3 parts to it. Shortlisting for GEPI kya hoga? Candidates will be shortlisted basis snap percentile, like I stated. This will be available on the institute website. For specific program, GEPI will be conducted, and this is what I was saying. The GPA will be conducted separately for each MBA program for each institute. Please keep that in mind. Okay. A candidate may be shortlisted from multiple institutes and for multiple programs from the same institute. Candidates shortlisted for multiple programs must participate in the GPI for each program separately. Very simple stuff, nothing very important here. This is the important part. Okay. This is the very important part, that if you go ahead and have a look at it, we are looking at what are the percentile cutoffs at which you can go ahead and get scores, or at which you can go ahead and get calls from the respective B schools. Now, would you be interested in knowing the tentative? Would you be interested in knowing the tentative score corresponding to this percentile? If yes, go ahead, type in CC, go ahead, like the video quickly so that I tell you corresponding score kya hai, target score kya karna hai. Only dates available are 10th November, 26th November, 2nd and 3rd December. So that is for the city you are in. What do you mean, huh? My recommendation then would probably be look at 10th November, or maybe you can even look at 3rd December, roughly 10 days after CAT. Okay. Are you interested? Sir, NMAT is on 2nd, 3rd, 4th in my city. I also want to appear for SNAP. Which date should I select? 15th and 21st le lo. So I'm getting a lot of CCs. I hope you've gone ahead and liked the video. I hope you've gone ahead and, you've gone ahead and finally subscribed to the channel. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Mock में 60 percentile आ रहा है फिलहाल. Okay. Now mock का percentile and actual and snap का percentile भी थोड़ा अलग होगा, but let me go into this. Last year corresponding to 98 percentile was roughly around 44 to 45. मैं कलर चेंज कर लेता हूं ताकि क्लियरली विजिबल हो. गिव मी अ सेकेंड. This might be slightly better. Okay, so this was about 44 to 45. Keep one thing in mind: last year SCMHRD ka cutoff was greater than SIBM Pune. It was actually 98.3 percentile, so it was slightly more than 45, 45.25 के आसपास. SIIB 94 to 96 का range रहता है. Last year roughly it was about 41.5 to 42. SIBM Bangalore 91 to 93, that was lower. That was roughly in the vicinity of roughly, in late 30s, about 38 to 39 ke aspas. SIOM Nasik, accordingly, you will keep going down. 86 to 90, SICR 82 to 85. So the way I look at it, as of today, you should only be concerned about these two. If you are able to score 45 plus, basis last year, you had a good chance of getting a call from these two. If I go back if I look at the average of the last 2 to 3 years, I will say on an average, agar 45 plus hai, aap comfortable ho. There have been years previously where a 42 plus was also enough for SIBM Pune and SCMHRD, but that will be slightly risky because you don't know the level of difficulty across all slots. Hence, I will always turn around and state ki 45 plus ka focus hona chahiye. Ab agar mere ko 45 plus chahiye and 60 questions ही है and negative marking है, at max what you can do is get 50 right and 10 wrong. Now if I get 10 wrong, that is roughly about 2.5 marks gone. Minus 1/4 है, तो भी आपको 47.5 आएगा, which is great. So what you can do is you can do 48 right and 12 wrong, you will still get roughly around 45, which is fine. तो अगर मैं all attempts कर रहा हूं, this is the worst situation that I can be in, which is 48 right and 12 wrong, which means an accuracy of almost around 80% to go ahead and get where you need to get. Okay, so please keep that in mind in terms of cutoffs. I hope this part is clear to everybody. Yes, this is out of 60. Okay, no sir, for NMAT. For NMAT you're talking about which date to select for NMAT? Okay, so NMAT you can take probably on the 4th of December, na? And then SNAP you can take on 15th and 21st. 415 Kumar Shwetank. I hope that answers this. Khwahish, yes, this is the cutoff out of 60. It is a bacha paper. It is the easiest MBA entrance examination paper in India. Okay, it will give you lallu questions. Think of, if you're preparing from CL, think of the topic test level 1, that or maybe even simpler. Ush type ke questions aate hain. So please keep that in mind that the cutoff will be high. It is not going to be low. ये नहीं कि out of 60 मेरे को खाली 40 marks चाहिए, 30 marks चाहिए, 50% of total marks चाहिए. नहीं, यहाँ पे 75% of total marks भी चाहिए हो सकता है. ठीक है. Now, how to register? Let's get deeper into the registration process, step by step process. Registration page ऐसा आता है. If you already have registered once before, तो कुछ नहीं करना. You just fill in this data and you're done. If you have not registered before, then you go to register. You click on this register and move on. When you click on the register, it will tell you few TNCs. Please keep this in mind. It will say ensure that you go to browser setting and turn off autofill option to avoid incorrect information. उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं. Second, please keep in mind that they say तुम्हें photograph चाहिए होगा जिसका ये होना चाहिए 10 KB to 5 MB. Please keep that in mind. This is the range that you need to operate in. Ensure the photograph is on that range. Okay. Next, if you're new registration, these are some important pointers. Couple of things that you need to look at. One, please ensure the phone number that you give you have with you, because you will get an OTP. They actually validate phone numbers. Okay. Secondly, please ensure that you are aware that the cost is 2250 and it is 2250 into 3. Third, please keep in mind, applying for SNAP does not mean you have gone ahead and applied for the institutes. You need to apply for the institute separately. 1,000 rupees per institute that you will need to go ahead and pay. Please keep that in mind. Okay. Okay, and also keep in mind, it's not just 1,000 per institute, it is 1,000 per program of every institute. So अगर SIBM में आप 2 प्रोग्राम कर रहे हो, एक एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप वाला एंड एक नॉर्मल MBA, तो आपको 2,000 रुपीज SIBM के लिए देने होंगे. फिर समझो स्नैप आपने 2 बार लिखा तो 4,500 उसके लिए. 6,500 इज ओनली टू अप्लाई टू द 2 programs अंडर SIBM पुणे. अब समझो SCMHRD भी करना है, SIIB भी करना है, या थर्ड टाइम आपको स्नैप लिखना है, तो अकॉर्डिंगली कॉस्ट है. So please keep these things in mind. Okay, they are very very important. Okay. Next, in terms of categories, please keep in mind that SC, ST, DA and children of defense personnel, specifically for college specific colleges, SII SIIB के अंदर वो है available 5% reservation. MBA digital and telecom management at SIDTM, uske under 5% reservation. MBA for information technology at SICSR, and finally MBA for information technology at SCIT. इनके लिए 5% reservation if you are from a defense background भी है. SIMS के बारे में हम अलग से अभी बात करेंगे. Also please keep in mind that there is no reservation for NCOBC here. So if you are NCOBC, there is no specific benefit you're going to get here. You'll be considered like general category students. Okay. Under the defense, and this is what I stated that I'll pick up again, SIMS, there is a particular college जिसमें there is 90% reservation only for defense category students. Predominantly course defense category students का है, जिसके अंदर 80% general category वाले and 10% special category वाले. There are only 10% seats open to normal general category students. I hope this part is clear to everybody. Okay. For differently abled, please ensure that these are the only criteria under which they are accepting differential, differently abled: vision impairment, hearing impairment, locomotor disabilities, mental retardation, multiple disabilities, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia. Dyscalculia. Yeah, I was absolutely right. So these are the ones which are covered. So please keep this in mind as well. Okay. In terms of SIBM Nagpur, there is a specific reservation of 25% seats for Nagpur domicile. नागपुर डोमिसाइल के 25% सीट रिजर्वेशन है फॉर SIBM नागपुर. Okay, I want all of you all to be clear about this. Why? Say I am from Nagpur, then it makes a lot of sense to look at SIBM Nagpur if I'm looking at colleges in that category, because there is a high chance I'll get there. And how are you known as domicile? Well, either you are resident of Nagpur continuously for 5 years, or the candidate should fulfill one of the following criteria: graduation या तो किया है या कर रहे हो नागपुर यूनिवर्सिटी से, and और आपके जो स्कूल सर्टिफिकेट एग्जाम है वो या तो महाराष्ट्र बोर्ड, ICSC, CBSC, ISC, इन सब से है. So please keep that in mind. Okay. Okay, payment instructions, nothing important other than the fact that 2250 you have to pay per test, which is something that we've already spoken about. Okay, this is very, very important. Please keep in mind, you can only apply to the programs under the Symbiosis banner if you have minimum 50% marks in your undergraduation, and if you are from SC/ST, minimum 45% marks. Agar wo nahi hai, you are not eligible to apply, so please keep that in mind. Okay, admit card, like I pointed out, will come 6 days before the actual exam date, and these are the identity proofs that you can carry with yourself. Okay. Finally, some important TNCs that you will have to go ahead and accept. Nothing that you need to worry too much about. Please keep one thing in mind about the admit card. जो admit card होगा ना, you will need to carry the admit card with you during interviews. So the admit card which you go and take to the exam, they will stamp it, bring it back, keep it safely. You will need that same stamped admit card during interviews. नहीं हुआ, बाद में वो लोग उस पे भी पैसे मांग सकते हैं, or they might turn around and state you are no longer eligible. This is the only college that does that. So please ensure that you keep the admit card with you. Okay. And in case you're an international student, you can also go ahead and apply if you're a foreign national, OCI, or you are a person of Indian origin. Okay. Now, this is the basic disclaimer you will go ahead and have to put. Let's look at the form. This is what the form looks like. I had told you, ekdam simple sa hai, nothing much to worry about. Applicant name, go ahead and put in. Date of birth, you're aware. Ensure you're putting in an Indian mobile number because OTP will come here. Your primary email ID and repeating it. Your category, ki open hai, SC, ST hai, kya hai. Nationality, are you an NRI, yes or no? ठीक है, सिंपल फंडा. उसके बाद all that they turn around and they ask you is choose the exam dates you want to apply for. Say you choose all three, auto ticked all three होता है, you will have to deselect if you don't want any one of them. नहीं deselect करोगे तो 2250 into 3 हो जाएगा. Keep that in mind. Then for each of this you can select a city. The moment you select a city, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा slot available, fast filling, not available. So just have a look at it. ठीक है, according to that then fill, upload your passport size photograph and you are done. इस फॉर्म में 10, 12 अंडर ग्रेजुएशन कुछ नहीं करते, बिकॉज वो पूरा डिटेल वो लोग लेते हैं इंस्टीट्यूट फॉर्म में. Am I clear till here? Am I clear till here, everybody? Okay. Sir, when we have to apply for SIBM just after SNAP registration, you will have to do it before taking your SNAP exam. There is a deadline for that as well. Ideally, you need to finish it by November. Okay. So please keep that in mind. Can we change exam dates after registration? No. There you can't, because registration ke time hi, as you can see on my screen here, registration ke time hi they go ahead and ask you the exact exam slot that you're looking at. You can't change it. ठीक है? So please keep that in mind. I hope this part is clear to everybody. Moving on, OTP validation happens after this. Like I told you, phone पे आएगा OTP, वो validate होगा. उसके बाद successful registration हो गया, वो thank you for registration बोल देगा. Then you move to the payment gateway. ठीक है? And this is how your dashboard will look. Exam, imagine I had said all 3 exams I want to write. तो 6750 मेरा आ गया. मेरे को ये लग रहा है अपना dashboard. 3 gateways है. Choose one of them. Go ahead and make the payment. आप जब पेमेंट पे करोगे ऐसा डैशबोर्ड आएगा, देन क्लिक हियर टू पे. एज सिंपल एज दैट. ठीक है? Before that, ensure application preview एक बार कर लो to ensure there were no errors here and everything is fine. This is also available on your dashboard. Okay. And finally, once you're done, that's it. You've made your payment and it's over and the registration is over. Like I told you, the registration for this exam is an absolute cakewalk. वो easy है. उससे पहले वाले की जो चीजें हैं वो interesting है and that is what you need to focus on. Any questions, guys, related to Snap form filling? The form filling is very, very simple. I will once again repeat, filling this form does not mean you apply to any college. You need to apply to the colleges separately. 1,000 rupee per college आपको pay करना होगा. Point one. Point two, 2250 per attempt. So ensure you look at how many attempts, ideally all 3 if it's something you can afford. Sir, for every attempt, do I need to pay for colleges or just once? You need to pay for colleges just once. But you need to pay for all the attempts. Say you take 3 attempts, so you paid for all 3 attempts for Snap. 6750 ho gaya. Say you applied for some 5 courses across all the Symbiosis Institute, you will apply only once. 1,000 ho gaya. 6750 plus 5,000 हो गया, आपने 11,750 दे दिया. अब आपके तीनों अटेम्प्ट के बाद the best marks that you've got out of the 3 attempts will be the one that will be considered your Snap score, and that is the one that will be sent to the institutes. I hope this part is clear to everybody. CC, I hope everybody is clear about this. I have also gone a little deep and spoken about what the exam pattern is like and how you should distribute your, you should distribute your time. If you want another strategy session for Snap in terms of preparation, कैसे करना है, mock कैसे लिखना है, exam का strategy क्या होना चाहिए, go ahead, like the video, go ahead and comment in the video, comment CC here. I will know that you want it and we will organize a strategy session for Snap as well. We will try to do that towards the end of August or beginning of September so that you have enough time to go ahead and work towards it. So I want to see CCs in the chat box. I want to see the likes. I want to see the subscribes. If you want a strategy session, that's up to you. So where do we apply for colleges? Like going through each of the college websites? Yes, that is exactly what you do. You have to go through the websites and you have to do it. I see a lot of CCs here कि मेरे को strategy session चाहिए. I hope all of you all have gone ahead and liked the video as well. ठीक है? And जब ये session खत्म हो जाए, comments में भी जाके लिखना, yes sir, I would like a strategy session, so that we bring one to you. Tentatively, looking at something either in the last week of August or the first week of September. I hope that works for all of you. Right? I hope that works for everybody. Last week of August, first week of September. Right? Perfect. So that's it from my end in terms of the form filling. That's it from my end in terms of what it is that you need to keep in mind with respect to Snap and what is the ideal time between Snap and NMAT as well. I'll end this session here today. Do go ahead, like the video, do go ahead and comment so that we come to you with the strategy session for Snap as well. And we'll go a little deeper in the strategy session where we'll break up every section, how to prep, what are the ideal sources, how many mocks to write, when to write the mocks, and finally the strategy of attempting the paper in terms of the time distribution. That's it from my end for now. Bye bye, see ya, good night everybody, good night, tata, thank you very much, and do go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Bye bye.